Russia's economy is stagnant, oil and gas revenues are falling, and there is a hole in the budget. Anti-Russian sanctions are bringing tangible results.
The real sanctions, as a matter of fact, came into effect on December 5th. This is an embargo on oil supplies to the European Union, a price cap on oil supplies to the rest of the world. So problems for Russian economy have already begun. No need to wait for 2026. By the summer they will have very big problems, and even more so if this price cap starts to work for real.
In just 2 months, Russia's oil and gas revenues fell by at least 46%. Such data are provided by the Russian Ministry of Finance. The cost of Ural's oil has halved to $38 per barrel, and Moscow is no longer considered a reliable supplier of energy resources.
Russia has lost its positions in the international energy market. After February 2022, no one in the world will see Russia as a reliable supplier of energy resources. By 2030, Russia's oil and gas revenues will fall by 50%. This will be an extraordinary blow and a very sad event for Russia and Russian society. However, this is a consequence of Putin's actions and the fact that he has turned oil and gas resources into a weapon. With this war, Russia has caused significant damage to itself and the oil and gas industry, which was the engine of its economy. Jeffrey Pyatt, U.S. Assistant Secretary of State, in a comment for Voice of America.
The economic crisis will worsen in the near future. Russia will not be able to cover the budget deficit. Even the supply of resources to the countries of Asia, Africa and Latin America will not help, experts say.
Indeed, there is a reorientation of flows towards India, China first of all, but on the one hand, they cannot fully compensate for this. They don't have such big requests, they can't consume that much of Russian oil. Delivery there is much more expensive. But the most important thing is that in order to prevent these flows from compensating for the flows to the Russian budget, a price cap was introduced.
But this is not even the cap of sanctions possibilities. Among other things, the introduction of restrictions against the Russian diamond industry is being discussed. The financial sector of Russia is also under the gun.
The extent to which the state in the banking system is the same as in the financial system, and it is very difficult to call it good, for the simple reason that more and more banks in the Russian Federation are disconnected from the SWIFT system. The second point, which greatly affects the Russia banking system, is that people are slowly withdrawing their money from Russia. You know, somewhere in the third quarter of the last year there was a figure that the withdrawal of money from Russia increased by 26 times.
The expert notes that Russia received a deficit instead of a budget surplus, and there is nothing to replenish the state treasury. Russia cannot count on loans from reputable organizations such as the IMF or the EBRD. Therefore, it will be necessary to turn on the printing press, raise taxes and cut costs.
There is already information in the media that about 2.5 trillion rubles have been printed to cover the hole that exists. That is, let's say now they have covered it, but the hole is getting bigger, and when a large money supply appears in the economy that is not backed by anything, this is a direct path to inflation. And the fact that inflation hasn't started yet doesn't mean that it won't start in a month, 2 at the most.
Analysts say sanctions are a long game. The gradual corrosion of the economy is systematically weakening the Putin regime and bringing the crisis closer. Reported by Serhiy Kuras, Vasyl Panasiuk, UATV News.